Hi, I'm Matt. Welcome to Hitchcocks. I'm going to give you a little tour of the building today. We're going to go through the showroom, into the warehouse, into the workshop, and give you a proper guided tour. Hopefully see some things of interest, and we'll see how we get on. So let's go. So welcome to the showroom, guys. This is where most of you, if you do come and get parts, will see us and come and get your bits and pieces. All the bikes in here are generally for sale. There's a few of our collection as well. We've got some interesting bikes in here. We've got the Rickman Interceptor, Series 1, early Bullets, Constellation, a few other bits and pieces. 350 with our Trials kit, a Bullet that's made to look like a Fury with one of our kits, and one of the rigid frames at the back there as well. A few bits of the artistry from back in the day, a few of the engines, early Indian 250 there. That bike's quite nice. That was used on a photo shoot with Captain Tom back in COVID. That one is actually for sale as well. So this is our parts counter that you would see if you came in to pick up parts yourself. From here we would obviously take your order and we'll move through the picking process shortly.
Sales area?
Yeah, so just a quick look in, guys. This is where you would come through if you were on the phones ordering parts. This is where we take your calls. This is where we process your orders. So walking through, you'll start seeing some of the racking where we keep all the parts. This is our AML area. We're official AML distributors. So if you need any car parts or anything like that, we've got absolutely everything, give or take. Okay, so we've come through now to our checking area. So once your parts have been picked, you'll find them come here. They'll be checked by one of our checkers. So importantly, he's checking all the TPIs, nuts and bolts.
Is that this guy?
He
Checker?
is
Not the checker, sir. No.
No?
enjoying his lunch. So yeah, your picked parts will come to here, then they get checked through this desk here, eventually working their way through to the desk behind. This is where they get invoiced, and the postage will be sorted, whether it's worldwide, UK, you know, whatever, that will be sorted to whatever you've specified. And
you
then
do a lot of worldwide parts.
We do, it's about 50-50 for the UK and then abroad. And then finally, packed here. We take a lot of care in our packing, making sure that all your parts come to you in good order. So we're going to head upstairs now. This is our main stock holding area. You'll see as we go up, we're pretty full at the minute. We carry a lot of the new Enfield parts, all the stuff post-war. We can pretty much do whatever you need. Probably 97% of parts I would have thought for your Bullets, etc. Coming through, you'll see not only is the racking on both sides, but it's also above you. So yeah, there's a lot of stock in here. To your left, you'll find all the intricate parts, nuts, bolts, pretty much anything you need. To be fair, a lot of the parts down there are modern bike parts, but we do carry literally every nut and bolt. So yeah, just to give you a rough idea, some of the kits that we've done back in the day. This is an airflow fairing for the old Contis. So I'm going to walk you through to a sort of special area in Hitchcocks that not too many people will see. It's where some of the private collections kept and some of the special bikes. So walking into the second part of the building now. Up here, literally in the rafters of the building, we've got a few special bikes that we like to keep. We've got a 1920 flat tanker over there, original Mark 1 Interceptor. This was originally used for remanufacturing parts, etc. But now we've got all the drawings, which I'll show you in a bit. So no, it's just a good original example. We've got the last Fury off the production line, very, very special bike. We've got the 800 Interceptor prototype. This was known as the £1 million bike. Purely, it never went into production, but they
Is that this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They reckon that they spent £1 million developing it, and obviously it never got to production. We've got a couple of our special replicas over here. That's a 612. Alan's very first Enfield's in the corner there, the push bike. He originally sold that and then was gifted it back once the business had become established. We've got the 1910 V-twin there in pretty good order. We've got this is actually a special bike for us. This was Alan's sort of custom bike. This did 120 mile an hour for a 500 bullet, which was quite impressive, and it also did Land's End to John O'Groats. So yeah, from a sort of family point of view, it's quite an impressive one. We've got the works bikes here, which are in a sort of state of pre-restoration, but they're, you know, very important historical pieces for Enfield. We've got Johnny Britton's bike, and we've got Peter Fletcher's bike. These were the ISDT factory bikes. Matching numbers, matching frames, absolutely everything. They're, you know, hopefully a light restoration at some point. We've got the... yes, sorry. So that is a factory special for a 350 for a trials bike. So back in the day, you could go to the factory and order a particular race bike. This one's in really, really good condition. It's not been used much, but
it's original condition.
Original condition, yeah. Been lightly used, but you know, the modern day equivalent would be going to KTM and getting a 450 Dakar bike. It's that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Just to your left there is a very, very special bike. I've never seen another one, so I don't know whether too many of you would have come across it. So that is the GP5 Racer. There was probably 20, 25, 30 ever made. Originally they had the Starmaker engines in them, and then Enfield developed their own engine. It's a real neat bike, and it was relatively competitive in its time. Yeah, all in all, you just don't find any of them. It's a real nice bike to have in the collection. So the next few bikes along that you can see directly from there are just good original examples of particular models. But we get to the corner and we've got a couple of special ones. So hopefully the bike that you can see and are looking at now, that would be what we would call a Chapman Bullet. They were designed in the UK. They used the Indian engines, and the frames were Ken Sprayson frames. He was a particularly good frame builder back in the day. They never actually got into production. That's I believe one of the bikes that was shown to the press. And just a bit further behind there is an Indian Climber, but it's in bits, so it's pretty hard to see. Just be careful coming down.
Yeah.
So just moving through the rest of the warehouse, guys, we've got some of our used stock here, but we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail. We're going to show you a slightly nicer area where we can get into a little bit more detail. As we're moving down, we're moving into the sort of bigger parts for the more modern bikes. So your accessory seats, your performance exhaust systems, suspension parts, etc. And then we move down into the corner here to somewhere really special. I think I might have mentioned earlier in the video that we've actually we acquired all the drawings from the original Royal Enfield factory. This is where they're kept. So I've just pulled out a couple of examples for you to have a look at. A cylinder head here from an Ensign. That was originally drawn in 1958, and that is the original drawing. So it's nice to have. It means that we can reproduce parts from the drawings instead of having to strip bikes, etc. And obviously it's keeping the history alive as well.
You've actually digitised all these, haven't you, Matt?
We have indeed, yeah. So on our website, if you're looking for a particular part for your classic bike, we've got the parts books downstairs, which we've digitised. And one of our guys has gone to great lengths to digitise them. So you can literally click on the original parts books, and click on the particular part, and it will take you to the part on the website for purchase.
Like when you're ordering a part from Modern Bike, basically.
Exactly like that. Exactly like ordering a part for a modern bike, and we can go, like I say, just post-war for pretty much 97% of the parts.
If someone's looking to do a restoration, we did talk about this before, but what's a good model if someone wants an easy restoration?
Oh, it'd be a Bullet every time.
Okay.
Every time a Bullet. I mean, for the Bullet, apart from maybe some tin work for the earlier stuff, we've got 97 to 99% of the parts from the ground up. Up here, we've got some of our rigid frames for the early Bullets.
It's a rigid conversion.
Rigid conversion, yeah. So if you wanted to convert your bike to the old rigid frames, we've got them in stock. They're available.
For which model?
That'll be a Bullet.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've moved down to the workshop now. This is where we develop all the parts for the new bikes, whether it's accessories or performance enhancing modifications. We like to keep one of every of the new or current models. As you can see, 450.
You actually did something interesting on this one. Which
Oh yes, yeah, we're working on this at the minute. It is still a prototype part, so let's not get everyone ringing and demanding it, because that will happen. But one of the things that a lot of the early buyers have complained about is the bike leans too far over on the side stand. So we're currently developing a part which will drop it down nicely. It is still a prototype, we are still working on it, but hopefully that will solve the problem for a lot of you guys. Yeah, so this part's been machined from a billet. We're still working on all the angles, etc., to make sure that we're happy with it. But so far it's passing testing, so fingers crossed in the not too distant future you'll be able to purchase that. I'll just see if it's good to go before. Neil? It's all right if we just do a little bit with you running it?
Yeah.
Is that all right, yeah? Well, we can sort that out with the magic of internet. Okay, guys, so we've come through to the dyno now, and I'd like to introduce Neil. He's one of our engineers here. He's currently working on one of our development bikes. This is one of our 750 big bore kits in a Super Meteor. He's been running up on the dyno to get the performance figures, etc. Neil, can you just run us through briefly what you're up to today and how you're getting on?
Yeah, sure. Obviously, we're just development parts on this. It's a big bore kit. When you change the displacement of anything, you need to reset the fueling and set the mapping accordingly. What I've been doing is the initial tests just to see how much adjustment we need, and then applying that adjustment through one of the fuel injection modules we sell, and then from that position seeing the improvement and then obviously fine-tuning it. So we start off with a coarse sort of adjustment and then we run it through. So from a throttle position point of view, we're taking it through from zero, sort of 20% throttle all the way through to 100%, and then we're adjusting the fueling to get it peak fueling and peak performance at those levels. This particular bike I've been working on getting the mid-range tidier so we can actually run it and get a more drivable option for the end user. Our test riders are telling us that they'd like a little bit more in the mid-range, and that's what I've been working on. It's a really nice tractable conversion. It works well. I was very surprised at how well it holds temp as well, because normally when you go to a bigger bore and a bigger cam, you've got to manage the temperature a little bit more, but this one's been really, really good. We identified the areas that we needed to work on, and the bike's responding accordingly. So hopefully when Matt rides it, he'll see the difference and be happy with my work.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, prior to Neil's work on this today, when I test rode it, we were estimating they come about 46 horsepower at the crank stock. We were running about 60 at the back wheel on the initial.
Yeah.
How are we getting on now?
Well, we weren't aiming for an increase in overall horsepower, because obviously we're still around about the 60 brake at peak horsepower, but that's obviously at 100% throttle, and it's at max revs. What's more important is that drivability, and if the right way to do it is not to chase peak horsepower figures. It's to actually develop it in a way which the riding experience is significantly different to the stock bike, which is where we're at now.
I can tell you it's massively different to a stocker, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do an all-gear run, which is really taking it through the gears, but I'll be monitoring throttle position and fueling all the way through. So what I'm aiming for is the cleanest transition through the throttle to probably about 80% throttle. So we'll be doing a final run. So basically one run just through the gears to make sure we've got the fueling in the right place, and then I'll set the dyno up to do probably an 80 or 100% run, just very quickly to see that we're in the right spot when we're at the higher throttle openings.
Okay, so back in the workshop. As we mentioned earlier, we like to keep one of every model, current model in. It means that we can develop our accessories, our performance parts, and we've also got one on as a reference point. If we get a particular customer with a particular issue that we're not familiar with, we can actually come out and have a look and, you know, strip bits off, add bits on to try and figure out what the issue is and try and give them a solution. We also develop our own in-house parts in here. We've got a couple behind us. We've got one of our 4-valve heads, which we developed in-house for the 535 and the 500 Bullet as a big performance upgrade. I think originally on the dyno that they were showing about 20 horsepower at the back wheel. By the time we'd done the 4-valve head and a few other bits and pieces, we could literally double that. So it was a big increase. Not for everyone, and obviously it's never going to be a big seller or anything like that, but it just shows what you can do if you want to invest the time and the money into your bike. Yeah, back to the Himalayan, me and Alex were talking about it. It's a popular bike at the moment. A few of the other parts in development at the minute. We've got our nav tower / GPS mount. That'll be along shortly. We're working on a few other luggage solutions. I'm sure all of our customers are aware that we do quite a bit of luggage for the Himi, but we're working on some softer bags, some slightly more adventurous stuff. We've got the Atchibis slam pans, etc. coming through, the longer range plastic tanks, etc. So most of that's on the website now for people to have a look at. Just recently, we've dipped our toes in the water for a couple of other bikes. We've been looking at the Triumph 400s, looking at the new BSAs. We're offering a few accessories, sprockets, service kits, etc.
These are really popular, aren't they?
Very popular, and they're in our sort of market base, you know, where a lot of guys might move up from one of these to a Royal Enfield or vice versa, off a J series onto one of these. So because they were in our marketplace, we thought we'd have a look at them. So we're just walking through into our engineering department now. I might have to hit a light switch or two. There's no engineers on a Friday. It means we get a good look and it's not too noisy or too smelly in here. So in here we will manufacture all the fastenings, all the bolts, anything, like I say, post-war. We develop some of our in-house kits, some of our parts. We've got some bits and pieces for a 650 Interceptor down there. We still do outsource a fair amount of work. A lot of the pre-production work goes on in here, but we will manufacture stuff if we have to. We like to use local businesses for, or anodizing and bits and pieces like that. And we still use some of the factories in Redditch that were used by Enfield originally. Obviously, different different guys there, different people and whatnot, but they are still the original factories. We do try and keep everything neat and tidy, but the big issue we have is space, as you've probably seen in the warehouse. We're desperate for more room. As the new models keep coming through, it's been 3, 4, 5, 6 a year, accessory parts and everything like that. We'd like to try and keep it, a good quantity of them so you guys can get them quickly, but we're running out of space.
These are CNC machines, aren't they?
Yeah, some older CNC machines. We still use them quite regularly. It's above my pay grade to actually what goes on exactly in here, but most of the fastenings and bits for the Interceptors, the early Interceptors, earlier bikes, they're all made in here. This is one of our special bikes. This is a 1904. I think this one's rated at 3.5 horsepower off my notes, something like that. One of two. The other one is at the National Motorcycle Museum. I believe ours is slightly younger than theirs, but they're both 1904. And yeah, we keep it in here. It does run every now and then. There is a video on our YouTube channel of us starting it up. It's a really nice thing to keep, and it's part of the heritage, etc. So this is one of the posters that we've had of the original drawings upstairs that we discussed earlier. I think this one's actually a canvas, but just goes to show the intricacies of some of the work back in the day. And normally the dates, I can't quite, 57 that one was drawn. That's a Crusader, 250 Crusader. Okay, so we've come into our goods in area now. I think I said earlier on the video a little bit that we recently became official parts distributor for Royal Enfield. Just to give you an idea of the deliveries that come in, we've got a few on my right here. And if we do get a chance to go up to the other unit, you'll see the sort of quantities that they come in at. It's crazy, the volume that we have to keep. Okay guys, so the next part of our trip round Hitchcocks is a look into one of our used parts containers. This is probably one of the neater ones, so I thought I'd give you a good look around in here. It also gives you a good idea of the sort of stock that we carry. Not all of this will be on the website, so if you're looking for a particular used part, get in touch. We've got used specialists that know what we've got or what we haven't got, and hopefully we'll be able to dig something out for you. Let's have a look. So as you can see, this is quite neatly organised into different areas, used parts particularly. Behind me we've got our crank section, so if I dive out of the way you can have a quick look in there. Coming down we've got our gearbox section, gears, you know, all the sorts of bits and pieces you might need. Moving slowly towards cylinder heads, plenty of those in stock, interceptor, bullet, you name it, give or take. Got the old gearboxes on the left, suspension.
Let's have a look in here. Yep.
Okay, so we've got suspension parts, seat pans, hubs, bright work, although that is probably the harder bit, you know, is the metal work, but we do have some stock. We've got new old stock Indian frames, that's a C5. And then the tanks, used tanks.
It's actually very well organised.
We do try and keep it like that. It just means that if we do get an order online, we can grab it relatively quickly. One of the things that we do try and do at Hitchcocks is we try and, if we get an order received on the day, we try and get it out on the same day.
So if someone calls up, you're running out of the shed here.
Yeah, no, literally going back to where we were picking earlier, we'd get a form and on there would be a location like this 502 here. We know it's a used part just by the number, you know, 5 is a location, 1 is a location, 2 is a location, and we'd be able to find it, give or take, and then we, with our experience and whatnot, we would be able to locate the parts. Some of them are labelled, like this cylinder head here, that's actually been labelled, so we'd know specifically that that was your part, but if we were looking for maybe a piston that was condition 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, we'd try and get you the best one that we could at that moment. Okay guys, so after we've had a look around the building, we've just got the Hitchcocks family together just to say a quick hello, put a face to the name. I'm just going to ask Alan a couple of questions. Alan, why? How did you start? Why did you start? And what are we doing here today?
Sorry, got to start again.
That was a really good lead in.
I haven't got to do that again, have I? Can you just...
Why did we start? I'm just trying to... Oh, tough one. I've always had a passion for bikes, as you know. From the age of 11, riding a Honda, if I can admit it, around the field.
Nothing wrong with a Honda.
The Enfield side of it came when I left school and purchased a lorry load of literally a 42-foot Arctic full of Royal Enfield bikes and parts. At the time, I didn't have a clue what an Enfield was, but it was a learning curve, and the rest is history.
Fantastic. Moving into the future, Dan and Will are obviously taking over and running the business more. Have you guys got anything that you want to add, or where you see the business moving in the future, or?
Well, I'm just happy that it's Royal Enfield that we've got onto, because they're an exciting brand with a lot of stuff changing, and they're bringing some amazing bikes out. So yeah.
Alan, you mentioned earlier when we were just chatting off camera that you picked the right brand. Yeah. Could you just elaborate on that any further?
It was luck rather than judgment. Like I said, it was a lorry load of Royal Enfield parts. If it had been Triumph, I'd probably be into Triumph, or might not even be here anymore. But yeah, lucky with the Royal Enfield brand.
Just for reference points of view, 20 years ago when Hitchcocks first moved to here, the building out in the background there, that's where we were. And that's where we've come from into this. And as you can see from the video, we've run out of space. We need a bigger shed. So that's what we're working towards. moving to the future with all the new models and all the new parts. Little 535 that's had the 4-valve conversion kit that we do. This is one of our guys' bikes. He's pretty pleased with it. It's had the carb conversion. It's worked out really nice bike. Okay, so this is our newest addition to the building. This is our replica cannon. We've literally put this up this morning. It's a replica of the original 1901 cannon that was used by Enfield as their copyright. And we've put it up so you can come and have a picture with your bike. So this is just the original trademark, as we were just discussing the cannon outside. This is one of the original trademarks for the Canon logo that was first introduced with Royal Enfield. So you can see the transition of the logo. This was one of the original ones. This, I believe, was 1905. So you can see the progression of the logo, the replica cannon we've got outside, to what you see today with Royal Enfield with the Made Like a Gun logo. Yep. Okay, so we don't normally let people in here, but we thought as a treat we'd let you have a quick look. This is our bulk holding area where we keep all of our GMA bulk stock, manufacturer accessories basically. And we've also got the remnants left over of the container ships of used bikes, classic bikes that we bought over from America. We're still working through a few of these, and we haven't even started inventorizing the used parts that we're going to be selling, engines, there's a lot of Triumph stuff, BSA stuff, God knows what over there. We haven't even looked at that yet, so that's going to be a while.
What is all this stuff? What if you had to sort of generalise? What are we looking at here?
We're looking at used parts over on that side. A lot of the frames came from America. A lot of the bits and pieces that came over in the containers when we did that a few years back.
Predominantly what bike?
Oh, there was a real mix. So there was a lot of Enfields, there was a lot of Triumphs, BSAs, mostly British stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or nearly exclusively British stuff.
So I've just spotted your old bike there with the rainbow tank, Matt.
Yeah, that's one of my favourites. I wish I'd polished it a little bit more, but eventually all of these bikes will be on the website available for sale. We've sort of cherry-picked, if you will, the nicer ones that we've sold the vast majority of now. So just to finally show you guys, I know a lot of you guys that maybe are dealing with us already have been asking us constantly since we had the shipment over from America. This is the sort of thing that we're having to deal with. There's a lot of new old stock BSA, a lot of Triumph, a lot of Enfield stuff, which I'm now walking into. As you can see, Norton stuff. That's about as far as I can go. But we are slowly going to work our way through it eventually. You can see what we're dealing with. It's a very difficult task. Okay, guys, so we're in our final location. We'd just like to talk about our customer service. If you order an order on the day, we'll try and get it out on the same day. We've had guys that have ordered stuff in America that have received the parcel within 2 days. We're all about customer service. Hopefully you've seen from the video. It's a family-run business, and we'd just like to say thank you for watching.